Sawadee Khab. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so not nervous, so excited to be here today for the second time in Bangkok, in Thailand. And I still remember how I was in this stage, how I was pitching as many of you today, and how my team won the global social venture competition, not just for the region, but for the global finals. And at that time, somebody from the judges just asked me, what do you want to be in 5 years? I think today you asked this question. And I thought, I don't want to pitch anymore. I want to be part of you. I want to be a judge. So I'm so happy that this happened. Today I will be able to see some of your pitches. And normally at that time, and also nowadays, when people ask me, introduce yourself, I tell to them, I'm Kristina. I'm CEO and co-founder of BlightUp. And BlightUp is the world's first tactile tablet for people with sight loss, because we develop a new kind of innovation technology based on liquids. But I realize that technology doesn't mean anything to anyone if there is no social impact, if there is no somebody that could say, this would change my life, my everyday life. And if somebody would tell me, or would have told me some years ago, that this year I would be in the New York Times on the one page, explaining what Kristina from Bulgaria does, and what BlightUp and how BlightUp has changed 300 million people's life, I would have never believed. But let me tell you how everything started. Because everything started small. We have to act small. In a small, beautiful country somewhere in southeastern Europe. And I was really sick and sad of being last. Because Bulgaria is last in almost everything. Bulgaria is last in innovations. The country in Europe last in innovation. Culture that doesn't value innovation. Here we are, right at the end. This year we are at the end. Right at the bottom, country that doesn't value innovation. Even worse, according to economists, Bulgaria is the saddest place on earth according to GDP per capita. And I was living there. But you know, I realized something. If I look at the negative things, they will be always there. But if I try to look at the small thing that makes change and are positive, they will really overwhelm you. And this is what I thought. Okay, yes, I'm living for Bulgaria, but I'm part of an entrepreneur family. My grandfather was an entrepreneur, my father is an entrepreneur, but they told me not to be an entrepreneur. You know, they just told me, go for the best school in the city, if possible the best school in the country, and then you will work for one of the biggest international companies in the country, and you will be successful, you will be happy, you will lead a great life. And I thought that's right. That's what my father told me. So I did it. I was promoted by the mayor of the country. I was honored 2 times as a golden medal, and the golden medal, I know, cum laude, from the Technical University, the only female engineer in the history of the Technical University at that time that got international exposure. At the end, I was working for one of the biggest bottling companies, Coca-Cola, and I was promoted as the supply chain manager for the country, but I was not happy. Something was really missing. I really miss my passion. I did what I have to do. And let me tell you what happened. During my last year at university, I found my passion. At that time, a blind colleague of mine just sitting next to me asked me to sign him for an online course. And I did it, because it's a normal thing. But after that, I realized that he couldn't see me, he is blind. And I just asked why you couldn't do it by yourself with the device you have. And he told me that all the devices out there available are extremely limited. They're extremely expensive. They could cost 3, up to 4, up to $10,000 if you want to read 5 words at a time. 5 after 5 after 5. This could take years. And there is no innovation in this market. More than 40 years, no innovation. Who knows? Perhaps a corrupt monopoly market? But after that, I realized that. And I had a more deeper look after that. I realized there's a huge gap, and more than 75% of people with sight loss are unemployed. And when I have a more deeper look, then I realized that only 1% of all published books are available in Braille. And there is no digital content at all. And I had the idea to develop this new kind of device. At that time, we even didn't think about a tablet, but a device that can give simple access to digital information, that can translate websites into Braille, the universal language for blind users, and give you overall access to information. But you know what? Nobody in Bulgaria wouldn't believe that I can do it. At that time, I was 3 times discriminated. I was a female engineer. I wanted to be a female entrepreneur. And I was a female engineer and entrepreneur with a big blonde hair. So no way. And I learned something in a hard way. I have to respect myself enough to walk away from everything that no longer serves me. There is no way to make me happy and doesn't grow me anymore. So that's why I decided to leave the country. I left my job, I left my family, I left my home, and I went to the heart of Europe, to Vienna, where I started everything from scratch, because there were entrepreneurship community, I had the support, I have maker labs, and everything that could help me to start everything. So this is how in one of the co-working spaces I met like-minded people, and just a small team of 3 we started. And a long story short, within 1 year, after a lot of more than 60 miserable failures, we finally had a breakthrough and proved one of our technologies. We had a breakthrough, and then we patented it. And this is how it works. Once there is pressure in the flow channel, the Braille dot, changes its state. Then we managed to scale this technology and produce the world's first tactile display. Now we are the first to control thousands of dots under your finger, so it's a tactile display. No pixels. No pixels, we have pixels. So after a lot of prototypes and a lot of struggles at airports, because the first one looks very dangerous, we finally had our device, and now we're in serious production, supplying BlightUp to thousands all over the world. As a result, BlightUp was announced at the CES as one of the groundbreaking technologies, and also myself as one of the top entrepreneurs. And who knows, I was coming from a small city and I just did it, but I still didn't believe that this could be possible. But I see the result when people start to use BlightUp to learn, to study, to play, to connect it with all of the devices we use nowadays. And it also speaks.
Calendar. Drive. Word. Play store. Play music. Drive.
And the user can do the following. He or she can read a text just by listening to it, or everything that's here.
Offline February 7th. Silence. Book 4 innovation.pdf. F. Drive. Open Drive with editing. Our mission in Google is to organize the information and make it accessible.
So the main idea is the user can listen to the content, or just pressing just some simple button over here, everything that's here is transferred into Braille. And now I'm sure you cannot see even under microscope it's difficult to see, but now I can feel the small bubbles popping up. So Braille is now digital. But not only text, also graphics, images, education. So like biology cells or brain or Google Maps, everything that's digital can be translated into small pixels. I still remember not only GSVC, not only becoming global social winner, but Kongran and being all over in the water, walking through the street in Bangkok. So I'll never forget this moment. But this is how we validated our first device at that time, which was the big bomb-like prototype. After that, we get exceptional recognitions for global sustainable entrepreneurship because we track our social impact from day 2 of creating a device like this. But let me show you what our users think about it. Currently, blind users are using very expensive devices, keyboards that represent just one single line of Braille, which is approximately 5 words at a time, and they're so expensive. They're between $5,000 up to $8,000, and this makes them so inaccessible. So I realized there is a gap on the market, and there are millions of people out there that need a new, better solution. This is how the idea of BlindTab was born. BlindTab is the world's first tactile tablet for people with sight loss. Any kind of information, offline or online, can be represented on the Braille side of the tablet, and it makes all of the information out there accessible in a new way and motivate people to use and learn it in their everyday life.
First, Braille is important to our students. They've got to have access to print. They've got to learn to read and write. You put somebody into the workforce that all they have is the listening ear. Comprehension might be really good, but if they can't fill out a report, if they can't spell, if they don't know how to write in correct grammar, then that report's not going to look right. And that's really going to affect their work production, their work performance.
Alpha Point's one of the largest employers of people who are blind in the United States. What are the jobs that people who are blind are going to be doing 10, 20, and 30 years from now? We need to be thinking like that. And BlindTab's the kind of device that has that kind of thinking built in. We're thinking about efficiencies and access of different platforms and how to do it at a competitive speed. So there are people who are blind today that are software engineers, that are computer programmers, and this is the kind of device that can help folks stay competitive in those emerging fields.
BlindTab could be used anywhere. I think that if you want to be using it to read a book, more power to you. If you want to play games, go right ahead. I think that it could be used in businesses, in work industries, in schools, at home.
Technology is crucial to my job. I simply could not work without it. And when you're blind, you're very limited by those things. Even with a Braille display, you can only look at 1 or 2 lines at a time. I use it for every facet of my work. And I think this could very much be a solution, not just for myself, but for all other blind people.
Our innovation is the technology behind it. It's use smart liquid technology, which allows having more than one line out there. We just motivate the users using innovation, using creativity, a new piece of technology. And these are just part of our global social community. We are changing, we are motivating, we are making happy every day. The thing is, we start small with the first 15,000 pre-orders. Then we get global distributors as first T-Mobile in Austria. Then we want to make our digital services, because we are also a platform accessible for everyone, with one of the top players out there. But also the Ministry of Technology and Education in Kenya, with 10,000 devices per year in order to make their schools accessible for everyone. And this is how we track our impact. We change the way how people perceive information, with more than 80 universities all over the world. Some of them are MIT, Harvard, London Business School, with more than 500 testers every day improving our services in more than 34 countries worldwide. But who knows? And who knew at the beginning that blind tap is such a scalable technology that could be used to make smart shoes and can be used to make a physical zoom of the camera using our smart materials. We also didn't know this, but now it's time to license it also for other industries. And this year, actually at the end of last year, something happened. Something that changed myself and I grew as a person. I still didn't believe I'm a strong person at all, but when I was on this stage, this is the CEO of Cartier, I became one of the top laureates and social entrepreneurs in Europe, amongst thousands of applications out there. And the main thing was, I realized that your past doesn't define who you are, where you're coming from, and what you can achieve. It doesn't define also your future. So I started crying, and everybody remembers this moment who were there. But something very important, and a lesson I would like to share with you. As a female entrepreneur, I'm advocate for future female entrepreneurs, and I know there are many of you here. Community is the new currency, and this is the most important thing. We have to add someone's life's value in order to be treated well, because we need more diversity in our companies, where we're working, in our families, where we're living, and overall, globally, all across the world. Thank you very much.